You're listening to the AfterBuzz TV network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your number one source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Chief Johnson.
The AfterBuzz Studios in Los Angeles, California. Presented by Maria Menounos and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies. This is AfterBuzz TV's Grimm After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AfterBuzz TV's Grimm After Show.
Hey there, Grimsters. Thank you for tuning in to another AfterBuzz TV after show for Grimm, your favorite show. I'm Zach Wilson. Joining me on tonight's panel is my lovely co-host, Yel.
Hello, everyone.
We're going to talk about episode 312, The Wild Hunt.
Yeah, we are.
It's the first part of a two-parter episode. Oh, and those are always like jam-packed. We have a lot to talk about tonight.
Yeah. A lot happened.
Let's open up as we always do with the quote of the week. Come back in the evening. I'll have the door locked to keep out the wild huntsman. Although I should have actually read that with a small girl's voice because
yeah, you should. That's terrifying.
Well, the story that it's from this week's line is from is a story called Little Brother, Little Sister, and it's the story of this little girl and her brother who run away from their evil stepmother, who's a witch.
Obviously.
And they hide out in the woods, and they grow up in the woods because he gets magically turned into a deer. And then he likes to play with the huntsmen and run away from them and all this stuff. And then she gets married to a king. It's this whole thing. I have no idea what it bears to this episode.
Yeah. I also am confused as to what that has to do with anything.
Usually it's really easy to tie it together.
Yeah.
It's something very poetic. So I'm wondering if it's going to tie to what we see in the second part.
Well, is it going to be the Wild Hunt Part 2?
I mean, we have the creature, the wild shear, which means wild army, I believe. It translates in German to wild army.
Okay.
But I still don't know what the quote has to do with it. So
No.
I'm hoping that we get a little bit more clarification on it during part 2. But with that, let's talk about the berserker, the wild shear, which is apparently where we get the word berserk from.
That was so adorable. I made a note like, Zach is going to love this. He loves fun facts like that.
I'm a history nerd.
Yeah.
At least in Grimm world, I am, apparently.
Oh, definitely.
But we open up on just a speed chase down the road. We don't know what's going on, and the cop follows him.
In a beautiful, beautiful car.
Yeah.
Let's just note that.
I would love that car, except for the white, because it just shows dirt.
Yeah, I agree.
It's unhelpful when you're dealing with blood and scalping people all the time.
Right?
You'd think you would get blood
Red?
on the car.
Oh, should have been a red car. Whatever.
See, it doesn't show blood stains on a red car.
Yeah.
All right.
We went dark real fast.
real quick. But this episode went dark real quick.
Yeah.
The parallel with that opening is like a really beautiful scene with like an opening about Monroe and Rosalie.
Oh.
And we'll get into that afterwards because
Okay.
it's just so nice. We need to spend the right amount of time on it.
Yes.
But paralleled with that, like crazy juxtaposition of a cop getting scalped.
Oh, it was so gross. And they're not used to doing gruesome. Ugh, can't even think it's so gross. The show doesn't do that gruesome of an action.
No, they don't do heavy gore like this very often, but they were just showing his skull bloody and scalped.
So gross.
I mean, I like it. It's a good, there's drama, there's death, like they're showing it. They're not shying away from it, which is nice. Because usually they talk about it or they'll show you like a body bag or something to hide it, but they're just like, no, there are real consequences. This guy's nuts.
And we saw the scalps when he held it up.
Oh, yeah.
Gross. Anyway.
And we see the bathtub later.
Yeah.
But so we get Nick and Hank then later investigating it. He's killed a series of people, all in uniform.
Yeah.
He's been in South San Diego, and he came from Mexico, just killing people in uniform. So there's a problem with authority that they established. We see him attack an army guy.
Yeah. Oh, that army guy fought back so nice.
Well, that army guy was like, you picked the wrong guy
Yeah.
to mess with. And he just like started punching him. He's messing him up and going at it. But then I'm punching the air.
Yeah, you jealous? You wanted
it was
to be
a
in that
cool
fight?
until he vogued and
Yeah.
just like destroyed him.
Yeah.
See, it's not a fair fight.
It wasn't a fair fight.
But
That's true.
he deems them worthy. Mm-hmm. That's the thing. So, what do you think? I guess that he's looking for people to strengthen his coat of scalps.
Yeah, I think the idea is that he's preparing for a war of some sort. And to do that, he needs to make sure that he is worthy. And to make sure you're worthy, you take on worthy opponents.
Yeah. I mean, he didn't fight the first cop we saw, though. He just was following him with a gun.
Yeah, that was...
But he deems him worthy.
Well, yeah, because he's a police officer with police experience. He chased him down. He is a worthy opponent.
He's brave.
Yes.
I guess the courage to dive in there alone.
Right.
Which, Portland police, please have a partner. Have you not learned anything by now with like gruesome, quote unquote, bear attacks and stuff in the area?
And Captain Renard said, do not approach without backup. Do not approach this guy.
Well,
eventually.
later, they when he said that, they learned. But, like, I'm just saying a general principle in Portland right now, don't go anywhere alone.
Well, so that was what was interesting is, so we're seeing this slew of murders, this serial killing, and Hank eventually turns to Nick and says, are we thinking it's Vesen? And Nick goes, yeah, I think it's time we look into that. Really? Because at that point, it seemed like a serial killer who was scalping people.
That's not a tip-off to you, Nick?
That couldn't have... I think it could have been anybody. It could have been Dexter, for all we know. I think that them jumping to Vesen, especially in this one, because it wasn't an unexplainable, crime. There was a murder. Someone murdered someone.
Well, actually, I see it the other way. In this show, we don't ever see them deal with crimes that are not Vesen. I mean, we maybe assume that they do, but we never see it. Mm-hmm. So I'm forced to assume that they just are never dealing with anything that's not crazy and Vesen.
So you think they should automatically assume it's Vesen? Because,
I do.
Well, yeah, because we're viewers of the show. I'm saying as a police department, if this crime spree was happening on any other show, there would never, and it was a Vesen, it would never even be like considered that it was odd. Because it was just, because it's not like the bear attacks in the past.
I guess, but scalping is weird.
People do that.
Where are you from? How do they don't where I'm from?
Well, I think they do where I'm from, but that's not the point. It's irrelevant.
But I guess I would love to see an episode, and we have seen it a little bit, where they have to deal with like humans that are interacting. But there's never, I don't know that we've really gotten enough of that feel that like these crimes are being committed by humans. It's usually Vesen related, or at the very least royal related.
Then I have a question for anyone in Portland. Could you please tell us, is it crime-free in Portland? Because if the humans aren't causing the crimes, it must be very safe there.
Yeah, I mean, unless
safe.
it's all real. And all crime in Portland is Vesen.
Is Vesen.
Comes down to Vesen.
We need to take a road trip to Portland, is what I've decided.
I'm going to, but I'm going to carry a mace.
Yeah, of course.
Not mace like the handheld.
No,
like a full like.
I got it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you need a mace. I agree.
Mace or some kind of like
sword
that will shoot out from my sleeve at random. Just like, I got to be careful.
Right.
The crocodile weapon, that's where it's at.
Yeah.
All right.
Way off topic.
Yeah. But I went on the Grimm Wikia to look up some facts, and it said that in some of the stories about this kind of character, one of its leaders is Krampus.
Oh.
Which I can't say where they got that information. Grimm Wikia is partially connected to the show. Mm-hmm. It's unofficial, but a lot of information is reliable. Are we going to get Krampus back?
That would be amazing.
They did just bring him up it would be interesting to see stuff sort of lead back and like build up in a way that we haven't seen before with like Vesen of the Week, like something having an effect on what we deal with later.
Yeah.
It could be very interesting. We don't get a resolution to this storyline this week. He's still on the loose. It's a 2-part episode.
It was very, very slightly introduced, I think. I feel like they kind of said, hey, there's this guy going around killing all these people. Hey, he's Vesen. Hey, he's using the scalps to make this amazing coat. He's kind of an awesome warrior. And that's it. And he's after Nick.
Yeah,
that's all they needed you to know.
Well, they teased it towards the end with he's coming for Nick next,
right.
which we assume.
Of course.
Nick's the warrior of Portland.
Yeah.
The protector of Portland.
And he's a Grimm. He is worthy.
Yes. But so I guess we'll just have to wait and see.
Yeah.
So then, as we see at the beginning, right as this is happening, Monroe and Rosalie are dealing with their own it's a whole situation.
So cute.
We catch up with them. They're going to dinner. Rosalie comes down in a gorgeous black dress.
Yeah, she did.
Which I'm just like, damn, Brie Turner. Damn.
She did look beautiful, and I think Monroe said it best.
What did he say? I'm trying to remember.
He called her. He said she looked very sexy.
He did. I mean, he's calling like Monroe calls it as he sees it.
Yeah, and the entire fandom went, yeah.
Pretty much. That's about right. And they go to dinner. First time talk.
Oh, that was so cute.
I figured they were going for that gag, but it was still fun.
Yeah, it was very nice.
Although it raised more questions on like stuff that we haven't established, which is when do Vesen find out that they're Vesen? I just assume that they grow up knowing that they're Vesen, knowing that their parents are Fuchsbau, that they're going to do this voguing thing.
Well, maybe some do and some don't. I mean, Monroe's story didn't seem as embarrassing.
Yeah.
And he seemed to know what was going to happen.
Very proud.
Yeah. Whereas Rosalie was mocked by her brother.
Although maybe it was about like what her Fuchsbau form is going to look like, and she was nervous about that.
Maybe.
So, because you just know like there's another form of you.
Yeah.
It's gonna happen at some point. It's like puberty hitting.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, it's like guys, we vogue just all the time after we hit puberty. That's what the beard is. I'm just hiding in plain sight.
Ah, I see.
At an emotional snap, my beard will grow immensely by 200%.
Gross. You really should see a doctor about that.
I consider it an asset and a skill. It gives me power. But then, they go back. It's like talking about a special occasion, $175 bottle of wine.
So they had 2 bottles of this super expensive wine between the 2 of them and then drove home. That was the first thing that went through my mind.
They could have caught a cab.
Sure.
We never see them in a car.
That's true.
Don't drink and drive.
I was like, they had 2 bottles of this wine. There's no way that they drove. We're going to assume they took a cab.
Yeah, Monroe's responsible.
Okay.
Or maybe Vesen just processed alcohol better.
Sure. Sorry, it was just something that came up.
But then we got to get to the biggest part of the episode.
Yes.
By far is this adorable proposal from Monroe.
It was so romantic.
You could do like your cheesy restaurant proposal. You could go to go stand in like a romantic spot. Mm-hmm. This is the kind of proposal that is awesome.
Yeah.
Because it's just so, he put so much effort into it. He built a clock just for her.
It was so personal and so, emotional and personal, really. It was just them being them and intimate. It was so intimate.
That's the type of proposal I hope I could come up with. Something so ridiculous but endearing.
You gonna do it right here on the show?
No. The cameras,
yeah.
I'll just have an anxiety attack. Yeah.
It's very private.
And he takes it to and she's like, oh, what is this? I don't want to look at your clock. But it was
you
so
gave me
nice.
2 bottles of wine. I'm exhausted.
Well, 2 bottles of wine. That way she has to say yes. At
Yeah.
that point, she's just drunk. She's like, yeah, of course. Of course I'll do that.
Yeah. And of course she says yes, which no one doubted. But I think the pillow talk in the morning was very interesting.
Yeah. It was nice. Then it becomes clear that Monroe... We haven't really talked about Monroe's parents before.
No, not at all.
And we got a lot of them in this episode.
Yeah.
Just right in there, just dropping them in.
I think the phone call that he had with them was... It really set up what we were about to see.
Oh, yeah. It exactly delivered the parents, and, like, very real parents.
Oh, yeah.
You got their dynamic. You got the dad. You got the mom.
Yeah.
The loving mom.
Alice.
Yeah.
And Bart.
Which is a great juxtaposition to last week's episode. This is Meet the Parents 2.
Yeah.
I don't even remember what the sequel was.
It was Meet the Fockers.
Yes, it was. I wasn't sure if we could say that on air, but I guess it's a real
Fockers?
name.
Yeah.
This was Meet the Bloot Bot.
Yes.
And we got that phone call, and then he comes up, he's like, thank God that's over, which is just doom in itself.
Yeah, of course.
So people have to learn on this show, there's like a bad habit of like saying it's going to be fine. You know it's not going to be fine, Monroe.
It's like a horror movie. Well, nothing worse could happen. Obviously.
They're definitely 45 minutes away.
Yeah.
We definitely have time. Knock, knock, knock.
Of course.
And when we do finally meet the parents at the end of the episode, it just blows up in everybody's face.
Of course it does.
I'm not sure exactly how they planned on this to go down. If it's like, because interracial marriage is like not as big an issue now, but like gay marriage is like the big issue that we're dealing with in society right now. But I didn't really get that comparison from this very heavily. They were talking about the natural order of things, and so I guess that's part of the comparison. But it just came in so heavy. All of a sudden, it's just like it went from 0 to 60 just on a dime.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, they were like, everybody was yelling, everybody was angry. I guess they could smell it on her.
I guess they smelt it, but also, well, I mean, because Bluebot they have an amazing sense of smell. We know as Monroe has chased down where Nick was and stuff when he was zombified. So they have a very keen sense of smell, or at least I believe that's what the show is trying to tell us. And I think it was really interesting to see how they weren't really excited. I mean, Alice, Monroe's mom, was very excited to begin with about the wedding. But I think that when Bart came in, he didn't seem excited at all, you know? He was very hesitant about the situation, not just because he doesn't believe in Monroe falling in love and whatnot, but because he didn't like Rosalie to begin with, I feel like, you know?
His dad, the dad?
Yeah, Bart.
Sorry, I was dealing with there's a weird sound. If you heard it, I heard it too. You're not crazy. I think I may be at fault for it though.
Oh.
Trying to get some stuff for later.
All right.
On my phone. I'm to blame. Sorry, Steven.
I feel like Bart didn't like...
We're good. Don't worry about it. Moving on to moving back to the dad.
I feel like he didn't like Rosalie regardless of anything.
Well, he was very hesitant. I'm not sure. He's like talking about money, and I wonder if I guess it's probably to play with his relationship with Monroe's mother. Mm-hmm. If you assume that they have a bad history, maybe he doesn't. If their marriage wasn't perfect for whatever reason, he's trying to protect him. Oh, make sure she can cook.
Right.
Maybe Monroe's mom can't cook. Or if she really can, he's like, you gotta have a good wife that can cook.
Maybe. They just seemed so terrifyingly old-fashioned.
Yeah, and that's what we're dealing with. We're dealing with the old ways now in this episode. That's the big thing. The traditional, they keep talking about their traditional parents.
Yeah.
He has the 200-year-old plate to show that these are traditional people. But then they freak out at her.
Yeah.
And what I was disappointed, like, she freaked out at Monroe.
Yeah, that did surprise me. I mean, I get that she was upset that he didn't tell them, because that is a very reasonable reason to be upset. But I was surprised that she left. And if I were her, if I were in that situation, I would have been like, deal with this, I'm going upstairs. call me when you're done. But no, she left.
She just bailed on the situation.
Yeah.
Which was a little rough on Monroe. Mm-hmm. But so now we have like, and Nick just like walks.
Yeah,
he just saunters in. Nick has the worst timing.
Also, he doesn't seem to, he is not, I don't think he comprehends what his position means to everyone else. Like, because he understands I'm a Grimm. I deal with, sometimes bad Vesen, but mostly I hang out with my friend Vesen. Like, that's cool. We're friends. We get along. I'm not like the other ones. I don't behead people. People don't know that. The Vesen don't know that you're this kind of awesome guy. You're a Grimm.
He didn't grow up like that's again. It's like the thought of like when you grow up in the society versus growing up outside of it and then being introduced to it.
Yeah.
He didn't grow up knowing that people thought of Grimms as like these beheaders.
Yeah.
But he is not that way, and he assumes I'm fine. I'm a good guy. They're gonna love me. I like Monroe. Monroe likes me. His parents are bound to love me.
Right.
And then they're about to just kill him on the spot. And Monroe's like, no.
Yeah.
And then fade to black.
And then the stupidest
I
thing
thought
ever.
it was funny.
It was dumb.
That was cute. Because it's exactly what I said out loud.
It was stupid. I'm sorry. That was
They're
my
like,
opinion.
Grimm, and I'm like, oh,
Blank.
blank.
Yes.
Can't say that on air here.
Yeah. And then they put it on your screen.
Oh, pound, asterisk, at symbol, percentage, exclamation point.
Nice.
I wrote it down because I thought it was very funny.
I also wrote it down because I was angry.
You, but we fade out on that.
Yes.
And then we'll come back in
On February 28th.
Yeah, we got a break, and on the word break, I'm gonna take a second to talk to you guys about iTunes. See, smooth transition.
That was
I'm getting
great.
way better at it.
Yeah, I loved it.
Especially when I call them out.
Yeah, definitely.
Thank you guys so much for watching and listening at home. We love having you guys listen to what we have to say and get into conversation with you. Please, if you get a chance, go on to iTunes, go to the podcast, slap us with a 5-star rating, because we appreciate it and we want to know that you appreciate what we're doing. We want to get you the best show that we can. And the best way we can do that is to know what you're loving, know what you want to see, what you want to see more of, what you want to hear less of. Tell us. We want to get into conversation with you guys. Feel free to tweet at us, start conversation on the YouTube. Tell us what you're thinking. What do you want to see on the show, on Grimm? What are you excited about? What storylines are you going to be freaking out about when it comes? I'm a big fan of the show. I got my Coin of Xanthos pin on,
Nice.
Which I will probably be wearing every week because it will give me influence over you at home. That's what it's for.
I love it.
Which we'll get into because the coins come back this week.
Yeah.
But yeah, please check us out on YouTube. Give us a thumbs up. Give us a 5-star rating on iTunes. It really helps us stay searchable. We're still a new podcast for Grimm. We haven't been doing this that long, so it helps us stay at the top of the ratings. And once we're more established, that will help us eventually get cool people to come on the show. We've been talking to a few people, nothing concrete yet, but like that your fans, your comments, you enjoying the show will help bring us to the actual show creators. So please go on there. And now back to what we're talking about here. Let's talk about Nick's mom.
Oh, yeah.
Nick's mom, Kelly Burkhart. Yo, you were a little bit surprised her name was Kelly.
I was very surprised her name was Kelly.
That's Kelly Burkhart. She's over in Europe somewhere, running around.
Yeah. Emailing with Juliet.
Well, Juliet, we open up in the first act on Juliet asking, like, Nick and her doing their taxes.
Avoiding
Nick's
doing their
like,
taxes.
I'd rather, what did he say? It was, I'd rather deal with a barrel of dead monkeys.
Yep.
Monkeys! Which, if you guys are ever watching Helix, you'll understand why I get so excited. Just the barest mention of monkeys. I know that Steven in the booth is also excited.
Monkeys!
Yes.
Thank you, Stephen in the booth.
But Juliet just is like, hey, can I email your mom?
Yeah, what a weird situation.
I'm not quite sure, if like my girlfriend approached me and was like, can I email your mom about something? I'd be so suspicious.
I feel like if your partner knows your mother and like they've talked, and met a few times.
Well, Kelly and Juliet have met.
Right. They don't talk.
But nobody talks. Nick doesn't talk to her.
Right, that's what I'm saying. She's not the kind of person you just reach out to.
Well, somebody has to. We
I
don't know.
guess.
She's just writing notes signed as M.
Yeah, the creepiest subtle emails.
Yeah, but it's really, I mean, it is a really good, I'm so happy that we're bringing her back in.
Yeah, definitely.
Because she disappeared for a while, and we did get, like, some news and gossip that she was going to be coming back. So we knew she was coming, but this is a great little hint. It's going to be soon. And it reestablished that the coins of Xanthos are coming back. It did actually that one moment actually erased like a whole storyline from the comic books because they destroyed like 2 out of 3 of the coins in the comics, and then another character has the last one.
Maybe it's all tying it in.
But she said, like, she establishes that she still has them and they're hidden.
Maybe she's wrong.
I mean, whatever. The graphic novels, if you follow them, are never canon. They're really just fun stories with the characters. But it was kind of, I was like, I thought we dealt with that already.
Nope, guess not.
Nope. But she calls them the money spent.
Yeah.
Nice little subtle
It was
way to do it.
her code was really easy to crack, but also like well done, if that makes sense. Like, yeah,
Yes.
Nick and Juliet and the audience understood it, but I feel like it was a great code.
Yes, but I mean, basically, it's if somebody's monitoring the emails,
Right.
end of the day,
They'll know exactly
like
what it
if
means.
they know Nick is involved and they see money spent, and if they even have the slightest like suspicion that his mom has the coins, oh, she has the coins. They still don't know where she is, so I
Right.
guess they're at least staying subtle that way.
And it'll be best if we communicate through Juliet. Why would it be best if we communicate through Juliet? How is that any different than emailing Nick?
I guess they would check her second, so
All right.
buys you 5 seconds of
Excellent.
spare time.
Great.
I don't know. I mean, the computer program, if they're hacking their emails, it'll
Yeah.
save them an hour. An hour of life they can keep.
Yeah.
But Juliet wants to stay involved.
Yeah.
She's like, no, Nick's trying to protect her. And she's like, no, I'm already involved.
And she says that wonderful thing that not knowing has gotten her into trouble. And so now she needs to stay in the know. I love it.
We don't want to go back to season 1, Juliet, where we're hiding things from her.
Yeah.
She's too strong. She fought a Klaus strike a few weeks ago
it
and
was
beat
so
him over the
good.
head with a pan.
And then kicked him while he was down.
She can fight for her. She's perfectly able to fight for herself.
Yeah, she is.
But so we know. So that storyline again. Hopefully, we'll get more of in a couple weeks when we come back. And then, lastly, we got to talk about Vienna.
Yes.
Oh, so much going on in Vienna.
Yeah.
Adelind is going in to meet with. What's his name? His name is Victor.
Prince Victor.
Prince Victor, who we haven't seen in a while, but we knew he was going to come back and be important because it's Alexis Denisov,
Yeah, of course.
who I love as an actor. I'm so happy. Like, when he first popped up, I was just like, yes! Not only does that mean we get another good actor on the show, but it means we're going to get some more explanation about the Royals.
Yeah.
I think he's going to be the key to where this show changes and goes in the future.
Interesting.
And we'll get into a little bit more about it in predictions.
Okay.
But I want more of the Royals. The Royals are this part of the world that we don't know a lot about. They're the Prince Charmings of the Grimm fairy tales that control everything. But I don't know if they are Vesen or if they're separate and they're like Grimms. They're their own category
Right.
of super ability beings
But
in this
are
world.
they the Prince Charmings?
Well, then we know that there's something. Well, I mean, they're not the Prince Charming, but like,
because they all sound like mean guys.
well, Prince Charming is always kind of a dick in these stories.
All
Like,
right.
at the end of the day, he's never the nicest guy.
Okay. So I get it. The Royals, yeah.
At least that's how in my it's Grimm, so it's always twisted versions of like the fairy tales that Disney has told
Yeah.
us. Like the original ones where it's like dark and like they all go through their trials. So this is the Grimm version of it.
Okay.
It's Prince Charming, but like with all the deep, dark European royal craziness, like inbreeding and killing off anybody that stands in your way.
Got it.
That's the kind of stuff we come to expect from Grimm.
Love it.
But we get Adeline going in, and because Victor has brought in a guy, Danilov, they're trying to find out who killed Eric. Still trying to figure it out. They've been really slow about this process.
Yeah.
But they've tracked it down to Meisner, who was the only person that we really recognized on that list.
Right.
And we know that that's the first step to connecting Renard to Eric's death, since Meisner was the one that carried out Renard's orders. So that's the first step, and they bring her in, and Adeline's a terrible liar.
She is really bad.
Like, I'm just watching, like, if Victor thinks that she's telling the truth for a second, he's useless.
Yeah.
I mean, she kind of gives it away. She gives it away in that meme, doesn't she?
I think so. I think she's playing a dangerous game, and I think she's going to end up screwing herself over. Is the
If she hasn't already.
Yeah, if she hasn't already.
Because now we have Danilov, who's the head of the Virat, on her back. Like, he's going to be following her, most likely.
Yeah.
Especially trying to connect to Renard on Victor's orders. And for those of you at home, like, who couldn't remember what the Virat are, I know I had a moment where I was like, the Virat, I know they're important, connected to the royals, but what the Virat are, they're a Vesen organization that they were established in the 1940s, according to a lovely article on Grimm Wikia by Sex and Beast.
Nice name.
So thank you, Sex and Beast.
Thank you, Sex
also
and
for
Beast.
laughing, because that's an awesome username.
Yeah.
And they serve the 7 royal houses. Virat translates to betrayal in German, so I don't trust them.
Yeah.
Their name is Betrayal. But they're essentially the organized mafia of the royals. They're the hit squads, the underground detectives who are going to, like, just go out, carry out any dark stuff that needs to happen at under the royals' name. But maybe they have their own
Agenda?
agenda, motives. Like,
Yeah.
who knows what they're up to under Victor now, who's now our lead royal,
Yeah.
essentially. Adeline, my favorite part of this scene, and I think it was yours too.
Is the best line of the entire episode.
He just like, he slept with her. He's talking about Adeline. He slept with her and her mother. Yeah, that's actually sort of impressive.
Right?
He's so like, Alexis Denisof just gives the perfect delivery.
Yeah. I love that Victor thinks so little of Captain Renard when I have a friend who literally refers to him as Captain Sexy.
Captain Renard?
Yes.
Is he a sexy police chief?
According to a few friends of mine who watch Grimm, they watch Grimm because of Captain Sexy.
All right.
Yeah.
I didn't know he was the sex symbol of the show.
Apparently. So
I would have thought Monroe.
So Victor is unaware of what women want, apparently.
Oh. I mean, Alexis Denisof is nothing to shake a stick at. Let's be fair here. But then, so Adeline is going back, and we get to see her. She's finally showing.
She's 6 months pregnant.
Yeah, but like we haven't seen her showing really before now.
What's interesting is that I feel like when she's out and about in like her normal clothing, she doesn't show.
So she always dresses in black.
Yeah.
So that'll hide it.
Sure, that'll hide a baby.
Well,
Because it's slimming.
for a while, yeah. Right? That's a lesson that TV taught me about how to dress.
I just love that she only shows when they want you to show, but in any other scene, it's almost invisible.
Yeah, well, it's magic of a royal, part royal baby,
yeah.
part Hex and Beast.
And we get more bloody baby goo.
Yeah, more bloody baby goo, but now it's not just like a weird shape in the blood or like a little like... The baby is like I've heard of kicking, like a baby kicking. That's ridiculous.
This baby's trying to escape.
It's like clawing at her womb. It's so much so that her skin is now rubberized and you can see a face through it.
That
A
was
face.
A terrifying face. Not just like a baby face, like a creepy Hex and Beast face.
Oh my God. What is this baby?
I'm so excited to meet it.
They keep showing they give us no detail about what it means to be a part royal baby.
Well, they also, I think what was really interesting is she says, I'm only 6 months along. And I forget the character's name, the other woman who said, like, the baby has its own agenda. Like,
Yeah.
it's coming when it's coming.
But, like, does the baby really have its own agenda? I mean, they talk about, like, babies, like, they want to come out, they want to stay in, like, but, like,
Right. Does
this baby, it might really have some, like, plan up its sleeve,
Yeah, like,
for all we know.
2 more days.
Soon my plan comes to fruition.
It's
It's like Stewie in there from Family Guy.
Say, is Stewie inside? Gross.
He's in there with, like, his little diary.
Yeah.
Comes out with, like, plans to conquer Europe.
Dear Rupert.
Creepy baby face. Like, but now, like, there's so much to talk about as we move into predictions. Oh, creepy theremin
That was so
music.
smooth, I almost missed it.
Yep.
TV predictions.
Thank you, Stephen, for our theremin and creepy lights to talk about the creepy stuff we're gonna get in 3 weeks or so, 4
February
weeks.
28th.
Yeah, we'll be back on February 28th. NBC taking a break from all regularly scheduled programming for the Olympics.
Yeah.
So we'll have a few weeks off, but when we come back, we got a 10-second clip of what we're gonna get. But we see Rosalie crying. Mm-hmm. We see Monroe's parents attacking.
Yeah.
And Renard says he is the father. He says it with authority. Mm-hmm. He is the father of that baby. He doesn't know what Eric did. He might think he's the daddy. And because Eric's dead and Renard is not, I'm going to bank on he is the daddy.
Interesting.
Well, I mean, what do you think? I say Renard is the father.
I say neither of them are the father, and the baby's not royal.
Ooh, that would be a big twist.
Yeah, wouldn't it? Seems like Adeline would do that.
It would then again postpone my question of what does a royal baby mean?
I think the more important question is, what is a royal?
Yeah, and that's what. So I want to talk a little bit about that with Alex Denisoff becoming this big part. Like, we know he's got to be a bigger role. He's not a kind of guy you bring in for just like. You might bring him in for one episode. You don't bring him in for like 6 episodes and then
Right.
just let him go unless you're gonna kill him in some. So he might die in some big glorious blaze. But one thing I want to see Grimm do is next season, which we got the numbers came out from last week, and it was like the biggest numbers they've had since early December. The show's on an uptick. Greenblatt said he has a lot of faith in the show, looking like we're going to get another season. Mm-hmm. I want to see in season 4 a real change for the characters. Right now, it feels like they kind of escape the consequences of any of the big stuff that they deal with.
Yeah.
Nothing like Nick got at the end of season 3. Nick B is a zombie. We don't know what's going to happen to him. He's being shipped overseas, and then the plane goes down. And that was a great storyline. I loved it, but once he comes back, he has a little bit of survivor's guilt. He killed a guy, so he's sad about that. But then he kind of forgets it and goes back to being a cop, solving Vesen of the Week.
Right.
I mean, what do you think? Do you think season 4 could be a big change, or are we just going to come back to what we've been doing?
I think it's going to be Vesen of the Week. I think that's the format of the show no matter what. I think eventually we should come back to what happened to Nick after the zombie-ifiedness, because he gained these new superpowers from being a zombie. You know, he's got that hearing and that really awesome doesn't sweat thing. And I think they need to either explain it or do something cool with it. I doubt they will until halfway through next season, because they just now were bringing back the coins, and I believe those were from season 1.
Yeah, but the coins are very important. I mean, they gave Hitler rise to power.
Right, but they've been missing for a season and a half.
Yeah, but they have the power, as basically they established, to turn everything. So what? And they're clearly bringing Kelly Burkhart back.
Right.
So if she returns with the coins, I think I would love to see season 4 really change the game. Mm-hmm. Not that we don't get the Vesen of the Week and we don't get the cop stuff, but I would love to see Nick fighting a royal. I want to see like Victor in Portland with a true war, like a royal versus Grimm war. And we get some more Grimms in there,
Yeah.
which I'm going to be calling for forever.
Yes.
More Grimms.
Well,
and then,
I think... Sorry.
Yeah, well, real quick, before we go out, what do you think Monroe and his parents are going to do?
I think Monroe is going to stand up to his parents, tell them that they either accept it or get out of his life. His dad will probably run off and throw a fit. His mom will tell him that they will eventually accept it, and everything will end up well. There'll be a beautiful wedding. Season finale. That's my guess.
Season finale. Probably season finale wedding, but it's going to get interrupted by Victor.
Interesting.
Yeah, I'm really banking on Victor being a big part of the season going forward.
I see that.
I think Nick's going to come in and cool everything down.
Yeah.
Probably big battle. Gonna see a lot of broken clocks next time.
Nice.
Unfortunately, sorry, Monroe.
He'll rebuild them.
But that's gonna do it for this week on Grimm AfterBuzz show. Where can the people find you?
The people can find me online at yell.tv. That's YAEL.tv, and on Twitter at YaelTygiel, YAELTYGIEL.
And you can find me on Twitter at @ZachWilson, and you can also catch me here at AfterBuzz on Helix. I almost said on Grimm. On Helix, Almost Human, and Archer. Thanks for stopping by and geeking out with us.
Yeah.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.
Thank you for watching AfterBuzz TV on YouTube. For more of your favorite after shows and interviews, subscribe to our channel here, and be sure to share your opinion on the episode in the comment section below here. We'd love to see what you guys are buzzing about. Thanks again. Buzz you later.